Vibrating with Vision and Vitality. This was a fun one to write because it's just filled with energy. I love this. So, as you know, this month is February, and we have been exploring love, not necessarily the romantic love, but the love of the divine. And as Holmes defines love in the glossary, the love of the divine, he says it's the self-givingness of the spirit through the desire of life to express itself in terms of creation. Love is a cosmic force whose sweep is irresistible. I love how Holmes puts that. He just nails it right there. So that's the kind of love. That's the kind of love that we are exploring this month and that we're talking about. So specifically, our theme is On the Wings of Love. And each week we're looking at the different aspects of LOVE, of the divine, right? That love that helps us spread our wings and fly into greater and even greater expressions of life itself. So here's been the lay of the land. If I can make sure I've got this here. Yes. We have L for living in light and laughter, which we joyfully did the first week of the month. And then we went on to O, omnipresence, omnipotence, and omniscience, which we really drug into the ground last week, and we're going to do a little bit more of that today. Remember, Emma Curtis Hopkins' affirmations. Let's do them again together, just to, practice saying those words, because I mess them up all the time. So God is intelligence.
God is intelligence.
Omnipresent. Omnipotent. Omniscient. And God is life. Omnipresent. Omnipotent. Omniscient. God is truth. Omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, and God is love. Omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. Boy, yeah, those are mouthfuls, aren't they? I get better every time I say them, so I practice a lot. So today we are on to V, Vision and Vitality, or Vibrating with Vision and Vitality. So, and of course, our final week, next week, will be E for enlightened enthusiasm, which is another one of my favorite feelings. I love to be enthused about something, don't you? But we'll get to that next week. When we look at David Hawkins' work in Power versus Force, is everyone familiar with his work on that? He has quite a way of putting, the vibrations, in the feelings and the emotions. And we learn that love is one of the highest energetic vibrations that there is. Love and joy, the positive, emotions carry a higher vibration. And we also know that when we are at a high level of vibration, as Esther and Abraham Hicks would say, we are very magnetic. So as we rise our vibrations, we're attracting that vibrational level back to us. So our premise this morning is that if we bring love, divine love, to a high vibrational energy, to our visions, to our hopes and our dreams, that they will have a great deal of vitality. All right, we're giving life to our dreams with our vibrational level, which starts with how we feel about it, what's in here, right? So vitality, meaning, according to our friend Mr. Webster, the power or ability of something to be successful, the capacity to live and develop, the power to endure. So I want to offer you a passage from Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind that we will unpack and see where we are bringing the high vibrational energy of divine love to our visions, our hopes, and our dreams, giving them a great deal of vitality, or said another way, giving them the power or ability to be successful, the capacity to live and develop, and the power of endurance. The real passage, or the passage, is a definite roadmap for doing just this. And it's on page 288 of The Science of Mind, and it reads, "We should analyze ourselves, saying, do I look at myself from a standpoint of restriction? Do I see life limited to the eternal round of getting up in the morning, eating, going to work, coming home, going to get, sleeping, getting up, again, and so on? Break the bonds of apparent necessity and see life as one continuous expression of the infinite self. And as this conception gradually dawns upon the inner thought, something will happen in the outer conditions to relieve the greater demands of necessity. Free yourself forever from the thought that God may be pleased by a life of sacrifice, that the world is any better because of your misery, or that righteousness is more perfectly expressed through poverty than abundance. Know that the greater abundance of every good thing which you are bringing out in your life, the more perfectly you are satisfying the divine urge within you. Anything you can dream of, and that is all in caps, anything you can dream of, is not too great for you to undertake if it hurts no one and brings happiness and good into your life. Wow. Holmes is amazing, isn't he? I love how he just puts that. Well, we're going to take it in chunks. We're going to break it down. So you'll get to hear parts of it now, because so there's a lot there to digest. We're going to take it in chunks. So, the beginning of the quote, we should analyze ourselves, saying, do I look at myself from a standpoint of restriction? Do I see life limited to the eternal round of getting up in the morning, going to work, or eating, going to work, coming home, going to get, sleeping, getting up again, and so on and so on? This is the first place to look this morning. Self-reflection. Not in a condemning or judgmental way, not at all, but in a way that helps us see and know where we are at this moment, right where we are at this very moment, because the only place that we can start from is right where we are. We can't say, well, when I get here, then I'll do. No, we have to start right where we are. And it sounds elementary, yet it's so profoundly true. It's so profoundly true that Holmes speaks about it many times in The Science of Mind. And he says, this is on 142, since we must all begin right where we are, most of us will be compelled to begin our healing work with a mechanical process. Now, that mechanical process is what he teaches with scientific affirmative prayer. And it's a mental process. We are mostly in our heads when we're doing this. It's like, okay, I'm going to go through the steps 1 through 5 because I want to get to this place. So that's where most of us start when we begin right where we are. On page 271, he says, there is a law of unfoldment which says we can advance only by going from where we are to the place where we would like to be. The way to work is to begin right where we are. And on page 282, he says, the way to proceed is to begin right where we are. It is not scientific to attempt to begin somewhere else. I think that's brilliant. He has a little humor in there. Yeah. How do you begin somewhere else if you're not there, right? Okay. And I really love this one. It adds a new dimension. So think about what it is. No one ever started at the top. Let us be happy to begin right where we are and grow. So let us assess right where we are and even be happy to begin there. Be happy with where we are. Joy is also a very high vibratory emotion. So even if you feel a bit like Holmes asks, even if you see life from a standpoint of restriction or see life as drudgery, I just want you to notice it. Just notice where you are and be happy to be able to notice it. I think that's an important thing too. Be happy that this moment is the turning point, right where you are, right this moment. This is where we're going to start. Be happy to begin right from where we are to grow. So, can we do this? Can we be happy right where we are? All right. Now, in that receptive vibration, hear these words of truth from Sufi poet and mystic Rumi. You were born with potential. You were born with goodness and trust. You were born with ideals and dreams. You were born with greatness. You were born with wings. You are not meant for crawling, so don't. You have wings. Learn to use them and fly. You are not born to live in restriction. You are not born to live in restriction. You are not born to an eternal round of getting up in the morning, eating, going to work, coming home, going to get, sleeping, getting up and, again, and so on and so on. There is so much more to life. So much more to life. And there's so much more meant for your life. So Ernest Holmes tells us, break the bonds of apparent necessity and see life as one continuous expression of the infinite self. I love these words. And you may also, but then you're thinking, that's great, how do I do that? That's just swell. Sounds good, how do I do that? The first thing to remember is that the how, this is important, is actually none of your business. How something happens is not up to you. So say that to me. The how is none of my business. The how is none of my business. So whose business is it? It's God's business. So say this with me. The how is none of my business, it's God's business. The how is none of my business, it's God's business. If you have the intention, if you set it right here and now to break the bonds of necessity and see life as one continuous expression of the infinite self, you can do that. Because that's the what, and the what is completely and totally your business. So say that with me. I intend to see everything as one continuous expression of God. I intend to see everything as one continuous expression of God. Remember the exercise that we did last week? And for those of you who were not here, we did I don't think I have the sheet of paper here. Maybe I do. Yes, where, what's in this paper? And it's God is everything. This is what God looks like. Because God is everything. And it was a whole long story.
We didn't go through that last time.
Yeah.
I'll just explain how everything's involved in the paper.
Everything. Yeah, everything is in that paper. You and I are in that paper. The logger, the people who plant the wheat, everybody is in that piece of paper. So that is what God looks like. It's a powerful way, very powerful way to see, and that everything in our world is a continuous expression of God. I love that. So Holmes makes a promise to us when we do this, and he says, and as this conception gradually dawns upon the inner thought, in other words, as we begin to embody the idea, as it becomes more and more real to us, something will happen in the outer conditions to relieve the greater demands of necessity. So as we get clear within, as we raise our vibration within, the law of correspondence says that it has to appear out there. We are the ones that have the power to create what is happening in the outer world. Can anyone think of something that through spiritual practice where they made that shift, where something happened within? I have many examples, and I've shared many times, where I've created homes that I wanted to live in, and, got very clear inside what they were going to look like, and then they appeared. Exactly. Down to, the price and everything. Pretty darn. Actually, one home that we bought, they went back and changed the price to my original price that I had come up with in my head, because it was $5,000 more. And when we went to buy it, they said, "Oh, we forgot to tell you. Who does this? We'd already bought the house. We forgot to tell you that it discounted $5,000." What? Everything, And then you go back and you go, why did I envision the fireplace in the living room? Wouldn't it have been better in the family room? It's kind of an interesting thing like that. You can get as clear as you want, and you can create whatever it is you desire. And you do the same thing. I mean, that you just gave an example of that this morning, where you said, I am manifesting 3 new clients this week. 3 new clients, just like that. 1, 2, 3.
I got a call this week, or an email that I had to have a sign up at Galaxy Theaters, a 4x6 sign by Friday, and this was Wednesday. I was thinking, where am I going to find somebody to do this? And I remembered there was and I couldn't think of the name, and I found the card, called them up. They gave me the name of the sign company. I called the sign company, talked to the owner, and I said, I need this by Friday at 3 p.m. He says, there's no way we can do that. I said, what's the best you can do?
How can this get any better?
He says, well, gosh, I guess we could get it done by 1 o'clock on Friday. And sure enough,
they had it done by 1 o'clock on Friday.
I had it posted at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And everybody was
Universe
happy.
must comply to the question.
Right.
Yeah.
Suzanne has envisioned knowing that there are people at our home office that are helping us untangle something that we're trying to work with, and they just keep coming at her and working with her, and it's been a true blessing. It's been wonderful. Yeah. So now, to get to my favorite part of the quote. Free yourself forever from the thought that God may be pleased by a life of sacrifice, that the world is any better off because of your misery, or that righteousness is more perfectly expressed through poverty than abundance. Know that the greater abundance of every good thing which you are bringing out in your life, the more perfectly you are satisfying the divine urge within you. Anything you can dream of is not too great for you to undertake if it hurts no one and brings happiness and good into your life. Wow, and that's what you're talking about, Joy, when you say, does it bring you joy?
Yeah.
Does it bring you joy? That is such a good mantra. When you put on the clothes in your closet that you're thinking about releasing and letting someone else find joy with it? Does it bring you joy still? If it doesn't, let it go. Yeah. If you're holding a book, does that book bring you joy? If not, let it go. Yeah. It's my word is release, so this is a good tool that I'm using a lot. So these words fairly sizzle with vitality, don't they? Whew. And who knows who I was almost quoting here when I talk about sizzling. This is great. No, close, but it's actually Charles Fillmore, the founder of Unity. In his 90s, this is what I want to be 90 and do this. He wrote, I fairly sizzle with joy and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me in his 90s.
I love it.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna put that up on, and have that done on a sign because I want that now and I want that every year, every day of every year. But that's okay. We're encroaching on next week. I'm getting a little ahead of myself because next week when we get into the enlightened enthusiasm, you'll probably hear that more. So we won't go too deep into that. But for now, I ask: is there someone or some circumstance involved in your dream that is challenging? Is there something that seems to be a roadblock, or maybe a stumbling block? What if you brought love to him or her or it? What if you encased it in love? Is there a lack of clarity about how to get there? First, remember the how is none of your business. That's God's business. But just bring the love to the part that wants to know how. The part that is paralyzed because you can't see how. Whew, boy, I get there a lot. I can't see how this can work. I can't see how. And it's, you know what? All we have to do is just love that. Just bring love to that, because it's not up to me to know how. When you do this, you will open up an idea. Oh, I could do that. I could take that first step. That is the love of the divine desiring to express itself in terms of creation through you. We are the conduits of creation. Let that vision vibrate with vitality and watch it take you to the next step and the next and the next. To quote W. Clement Stone, he says, no matter how carefully you plan your goals, they will never be more than pipe dreams unless you pursue them with gusto. With gusto. So I want to end our time today by spending a few moments vibrating a vision with vitality. French mystic Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, who, by the way, was a mentor to Jean Houston. He was the person that she ran into in the park when she was chasing after her dog. Didn't know who he was, but would continue to meet up with him for years afterwards. But he said there is almost a sensual longing for communion with others who have a large vision. The immense fulfillment of the friendship between those engaged in furthering the evolution of consciousness has a quality impossible to describe. Our vision here for our center, celebrating the presence of spirit in all, transforming lives and creating a world that works for everyone, is more than just something that we say every Sunday, or at least I hope it is. We truly want to embody and celebrate each and every person who is seeking a larger truth about and for themselves. We want to be a safe place where spiritual tools for successful living are taught and are shared, and where everyone is encouraged to breathe their true God self and share their true gifts. And how exciting is it to know that we are consciously contributing further to the furthering of evolution of the consciousness of the entire world by adding our powerful thoughts and our intentions. We are doing that consciously. To truly be part of a movement that is actively creating a world that works for everyone, holding that vision and pumping our energy and our high vibrational feelings into that. Does it ring true for you? Is this something that speaks to the truth for you? Do you believe it? Do you accept it for yourself and for the center? Do you accept it for the world? Are you truly grateful for this power that is yours to use and to create a center that serves you and all who may come and join us?
Yes.
Okay, then so it is. I invite you to create your own personal vision for your own life. What do you desire to have, be, or do? Be as specific as you desire, as you you want to. Be as specific as you desire, but not how it is to come about. Know that as you become clear, the universe must respond according to the law of correspondence and mental equivalence, which Louise Hay talks about all the time. See it done. See the completed project or whatever it is you desire complete in your mind. Give thanks for the splendid result of your perfect life, your perfect expression. Release this prayer, this vision, this knowledge, knowing that it is already done. It's already done in the mind of God. And then be excited as you expectantly look out to see the results of what you have created in mind to appear in the world of form. When you know that that is done, you've released it, and it is already done. And then we say together, and so it is.
If, could I?